Howdy folks, welcome back to the channel. Well, you saw the title and the thumbnail. In case people who don't know, Disney now owns Fox. They are pretty much slowly taking over the entertainment industry. I would not be surprised in the future if they somehow strike a deal with Warner Brothers in the near future. I don't know. I mean, we said that they would pretty much never acquire Fox and that the X-Men, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man would never end up in the MCU. And I'm not saying DC's going to cross over, but it's very possible that in the near future something will happen. I mean, considering the DCEU really needs some good management, and Jeff Johns is apparently out of the picture, but I'm rambling. Ridley Scott, apparently, it's been leaked that he's been in talks with Disney for Alien Awakening. Now, originally, his plan with Fox was to create, I believe, a 5-movie arc storyline. I've heard rumors that it was going to be a trilogy, a quadrilogy, or an anthology, which is 5 movies. I'm guessing it would have been 5, because he wanted to tell a pretty big story, but as of right now, he's just in talks for Alien Awakening, the sequel to Covenant, and I have a lot to talk about. I put a bunch of notes here on my phone so I wouldn't forget, so we can just predict on what Alien Awakening will basically be about if Disney lets Ridley Scott do it. First thing I want to talk about, is Disney in general a good fit to handle Alien movies and Predator movies, for that matter? Now, yes and no. Yes, because, I mean, they clearly have the funds to do it. They've been doing great management work with Marvel movies. They've been hiring pretty good writers and directors for their films. So I think having Disney in charge of managing Alien Predator movies is pretty good. I think it's a pretty good idea. However, I said yes and no. Let's talk about no. We all know what's going on with Star Wars, right? We're kind of oversaturated. We kind of oversaturated the Star Wars universe. I know Last Jedi gets a ton of hate. I can understand why. Personally, it was whatever. I'm personally not the biggest Star Wars fan in general. Though I did enjoy Rogue One, and actually Han Solo for that matter. It was not that bad of a movie. I enjoyed it. However, the franchise is kind of iffy at the moment. Like I said, with Last Jedi kind of screwing everything up, and Rian Johnson, that whole thing. I really hope that if Disney does go forward with Alien movies, they don't do the same. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. However, if they do go on with Alien Awakening, what about an R rating? I've heard a lot of people talking on Facebook groups that, you know, Disney acquired Fox. There's not going to be any more rated R movies or Deadpool movies and stuff like that. It is a concern of mine, though I think it would be pretty dumb not to make Alien rated R. Just because Disney owns it doesn't mean it's going to be all cartoony and fun and all that. Because at the end of the day, it's still an Alien movie. It has a franchise behind it to live up to. So personally, I think it'll be getting R-rated ratings in the future. Again, I don't know why they wouldn't. If they do, they're out of their minds. I mean, Alien vs. Predator, the first one got away with it. Even though there was an R-rated director's cut, I think on the Blu-ray. Yeah, I think that's the one I just watched. Which wasn't really too different, to be honest with you. But Disney, if you're watching this, I'm counting on you. Make it rated R. Okay? Alright, now let's move on to writers and directors. Obviously, Ridley Scott is in talks for directing, as he should be. You know, he's kind of the face of the franchise at the moment. Although I know James Cameron has been rumoring that he might be returning for an Aliens sequel, or at least be producing one. I don't know. But either way, Ridley Scott is going to be back to direct if they do go through with this. But here's an interesting question. What about writers? That's what I've been wondering about. Now, I put down some names of the writers from Prometheus and Covenant. The writers from Prometheus were Damon Lindelof and John Spates. I don't know if they would be returning. Prometheus got a lot of hate, and I do kind of blame the writers on this one. I get what they were going for. You know, they were kind of basing Prometheus off of Dan O'Bannon's previous original story for Alien before the script got turned around. So I don't know if they would be returning. Personally, I don't think it would be the greatest idea, considering the writers for Covenant, I think, did a much, much better job. I really think they did. I don't hate Prometheus. It's okay. You know, I think what really helped Prometheus was Alien Covenant, because now you got a little bit more context of what's coming ahead, and it gives you, I don't know, it just made me feel better about what I think about Prometheus, if that makes any sense. Now that I know where it's going, I understand why these characters needed to do this, and now I'm okay with it. It's a part of the franchise, nothing we can do about it, and that's just that. But, so the writers from Covenant that I wrote down were Michael Green, John Logan, Dante Harper, and Jack Paglin. Michael Green, I'm familiar with his work. He did a couple of good movies that I liked, one of which was Logan. He wrote Logan, which is pretty much my favorite movie. And you can really see that showing in Covenant. It had really good writing. It had really good dialogue. And it had a really good balance of action and horror. Even though I think the final battle at the end was a little bit too much. I'm not even talking in terms of CGI, it was just really insane. But overall, I thought it was a good movie. And it really made me want to see what was to come next, and hence Alien Awakening would hopefully be the next thing. So as far as writers go, we'll see. Personally, like I've been saying, I hope they bring back this guy Michael Green, John Logan, and the other two fellers, because they did a pretty good job with the Covenant. They definitely revived what Prometheus kind of introduced, which died after a while, considering how much hate it got. And Alien Covenant surprisingly got a ton of hate. I personally enjoyed the movie, like I've been saying. I thought it was really cool, but I understand. I understand where the hate comes from. Alright, now let's kind of theorize about what Alien Covenant, or I'm sorry, what Alien Awakening would be about. So again, I wrote down some stuff. Obviously, it's going to be, I'm assuming, continuing the journey of David. Though what I'm wondering about is if we're going to be introduced to a brand new crew. We had a crew from Prometheus, they got effed over. We had another crew in Covenant, they got effed over. It seems like a theme. And it's a pretty good theme. I mean, it's kind of correlating with the original Alien. You know, aliens are killing one crew member at a time. It's tradition. But what would David be doing next? I wonder. I mean, at the end of Covenant, we know that he has all the face huggers. You know, those eggs that he was plopping out of his mouth. And plenty of specimens on board the ship to mess around with. Now, if I'm guessing, where Awakening would begin, would actually not begin with him testing everything, but it'll kind of begin with he's done with testing. Kind of like when we were introduced to him in Covenant, he was already pretty much done with all the experiments. He knew what he wanted to do next, and I think that's where Awakening is going to begin. Now, if a new crew is going to be brought into the mix, for example, you know, David left a distress signal from the station or the ship, and maybe a rescue crew will be coming on his way, and that'll be our new crew for the aliens to kill one at a time. We'll see, but I honestly think that's where it would go next. I mean, another thing I wrote down was LV-426, or, you know, Acheron from the first movie and Aliens as well. Where would that come into play? We knew in Prometheus they were they caught a beacon from the derelict from LV-223, I think it was called. I wonder if David is gonna be going there next. I really don't know. I know in some deleted scenes on the Blu-ray of Prometheus, Weyland apparently knew about LV-426, but he decided to go to LV-223 instead, and if nothing panned out there, he would go to LV-426, and considering, you know, Weyland had kind of a father-son-ish relationship with David, I wouldn't be surprised that they would kind of continue his work and go to LV-426. That could be really cool. It'd be a pretty good way to slowly transition into, you know, where that distress signal came from, its origins, the derelict, how to get there, all that stuff. So, I'm wondering about that. Another thing I wrote down is, you know, we got introduced to the alien in Covenant, the full-on xenomorph, right? But it didn't really look too... It wasn't exactly like what we saw in the first Aliens, you know, the entire franchise. I mean, didn't look like this, essentially. One thing I keep mentioning in my videos, and I keep mentioning, I don't know why, it just seems like the perfect route to go, but obviously a big part of the alien design are all these biomechanical parts, right? It looks like it's organic, but has some kind of robot parts in it. I mean, when Parker smashed open Ash's head in the first Alien, you saw all that stuff coming out, and when Ripley was fixing him, it really looks similar to this. There were tubes and wires and coils and all this stuff that really looks like the big chap, or just, you know, aliens in general. So what I'm wondering is, how does that come into play? A theory I had was somehow David is going to mix alien DNA with robotics from his own body, or at least another android's body. Now, obviously, it doesn't really make sense for a facehugger to jump on an android's face and then, you know, impregnate the damn thing, but it does sound like that would make sense in terms of showing the audience where these designs came from. Why does it look the way it does? And again, the alien from Alien Covenant, it was pretty close, but it was lacking all that biomechanical stuff. So that could be really interesting to explore in Awakening. Now, I know I'm jumping ahead of myself, considering we don't know if this is going to be the final installment for the prequel, or if it's going to open doors to 2 other films. Because again, I'm not sure if it's going to be a trilogy or a 5-movie story arc. I mean, if it's a 5-movie story arc, I'm definitely getting ahead of myself. We're practically finalizing the Alien storyline in Awakening. But we'll have to wait and see, honestly. That's pretty much all I had. As far as notes go, I know I did a lot of rambling in this video. I tend to do that, in case you guys don't know. But even with Disney on board, I have faith that A, Awakening will happen, and B, it will be good. Because again, for all of Disney's faults, and I hate Disney a lot, okay? If you guys don't watch the toy show, I hate Disney with a passion. I really do. But they know what they're doing at the end of the day. They're not stupid enough to make this movie suck. I mean, pretty much all the MCU movies are really good. They have good writing. Minus a couple, okay? You know, what can you do? It happens. Not everyone can be perfect. But I think they understand the importance of the franchise. I think they know that it has a really strong following. If not, you know, it's not the biggest following in the world. But I trust you, Disney. Don't let me down. Please. And by the way, if anybody heard anything about like this Alien TV show that was rumored, let me know. I haven't heard anything. I heard rumors a couple months back that it's going to be just a series kind of like Black Mirror, where each episode is just on its own. Kind of like the 40th anniversary short films. I don't know what's up with that, but we'll see. Okay, Disney? Please, please, don't screw up, okay? Don't screw up. And don't screw up Predator, for that matter. In fact, with Predator, I'm really happy that Disney's on board, considering what Shane Black did. Okay? No judgment if you liked the Predator. It had a lot of good elements, but at the end of the day, it just didn't really work for me. And again, I blame Fox because Shane Black... Ugh. And I'm a hypocrite because I thought originally Shane Black would be a really good fit, considering he was in the original Predator. But then I remembered Iron Man 3. Yeah. And I know Shane Black has a following. And again, no judgment if you liked Iron Man 3. I know plenty of fellas who enjoyed Iron Man 3 and the Predator and his other films. And that's that. So, Disney, I trust you. Okay? Watch these videos. Watch them. Take notes. Look through the comics. You got plenty of source material. Okay? As I said, I don't think writing it is going to be a problem. So just don't turn it into Star Wars and give us an Alien movie every year. Okay? In fact, what you should be doing, along with Awakening, is Alien 5 with Neil Blomkamp. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. Now I know he's busy doing RoboCop Returns, which I'm looking forward to if Peter Weller is on board. But work with him, Disney. Please. While Sigourney Weaver and Lance Henriksen and Michael Biehn are still around, do Alien 5. Fix what Alien 3 did. Please. Beg of you. Please. Okay, folks, I'm going to stop rambling here. I'm going to shut up. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Definitely let me know if you're looking forward to Alien Awakening. What are your thoughts on even if it'll happen in general? And most importantly, what do you think of Disney? What do you think of Disney? Okay, because I've seen plenty of people saying, I hate it, I love it, I hate it, I love it. Me, I have faith in you. We'll see. But yeah, put your comments down below. Go check out The Sanctuary on Facebook. A lovely group of collectors. So post whatever you'd like as long as it's pop culture oriented. Share your YouTube channels. We also do a toy show every Friday on our YouTube channel at, I think, the time changes, either 6 or 6:30 is when it starts, Pacific Standard Time. So join us. We'd love to have you. And as always, folks, have a good morning, evening, midday, whatever, and take care.